Hello Gemini, welcome to your December reading. Really great to see everyone again. As always, you can use this for your sun, rising, and moon if you happen to know all three. Otherwise, just stick with your sun sign. With that being said, why don't we talk about the format? For anybody that's brand new, I'd just like to say hello and a big hearty welcome to anyone that's coming back and has been supporting me for the past few years. I do appreciate that. For the new folks, let me just tell you a little bit about the format. I like to start with some channeled information, then I pull cards and take a look at what the month is bringing through energetically, and then I expand that forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. If you like what you see here, by the way, I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already. And also if you'd like to become a part of Patreon, that's a great way to give back. I also offer a way to do one-time donations as well. I'll put some information here and I'm going to talk a little bit more at the end about all of that. But let's get into the reason that you came here, the guidance and intuition that I received when I was tuning into your sign. Now, before I get started, before I hit record, I select a deck of cards, I meditate, and then I do something called automatic writing, which is, for me, just closing my eyes, writing, and seeing what comes through. When I was doing that for your sign this month, I had the image of wings being outstretched, and it wasn't just the idea of taking flight. It was also about you bringing people into your sort of circle of energy, sharing things, and it was sort of a gathering a visual that I was starting to see with this. I wrote the following words down. I said, this month is about taking flight. Don't be afraid to go after something that you feel is a little bit of a stretch goal for you. In this reaching out, it's not just about deciding to go after something. It's also about sharing, about bringing people into your dream, into your vision. So see how that feels this month. We'll take a look at the cards in just a second here to see how people are going to play a part this month. If they're going to be a source of help or if there might be some challenges with that. So without any further delay, I'm going to turn the camera down, shuffle the deck here, and pull a Celtic cross. This point, I normally like to remain quiet so that just like you, I can observe the energy and the information card by card, but I will join you afterwards and we'll look at everything and decipher that. Okay, so let's give the cards a shuffle and see what they have to say. In addition to what I just pulled in front of me, I like to add an extra card. This to me is the catalyst. It works as a way to really find commonality between everything that's in front of us. And it also helps you either embrace some of the positive energy of the month or avoid any of the barriers or blocks that might be coming through. So we have a card here that is reminding you that what is coming through this month is really abundance and prosperity. And it says, the universe is providing abundance, be open to receiving. A message that I actually had said to another sign this month. So it's fun when I see a connection across different signs. It's showing that there is a common energy that we can all take part in. Let's go card by card and get a little bit more information here. The center card shows me that this is going to be a busy month, but a manageable month. A lot of times when I see 8 of Wands, there's sometimes so much going on that you don't have a lot of time to rest. With the 7 of Wands, what the message is this month is pick and choose what you want to work on. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Part of a good leader is knowing when to say no, when to delegate, and sometimes just when to push something for another day, another week, another month. So your skills of management in your life are going to be put to the test. For many of you, this has directly to do with relationships, not so much about like work or money. There may be people in your life that sometimes when I'm looking at resources, it's time and energy. I think this is going to be what many of you have to deal with this month is this relationship, is this partnership, is this endeavor with another person worth the time and energy? If it is, then invest in it, because the Ace of Cups is a wonderful card for new beginnings, for a deepening of something that you've begun. It's a really nice card for that. But if it's something where you feel like you're pushing more than the other person is, or you're carrying a little bit more of the load, this month you're being challenged to try to strike the balance, try to find some sort of connection so that the other person either feels empowered or feels that accountability and responsibility to pick up the slack. Do your best this month also to stick to facts. Don't get too defensive. If anybody comes through with criticism, it actually looks like it's coming from a good place. Your crowning card is one of growth and recognition. So recognize that whatever sort of feedback or support is coming through to you is probably coming from a place of positivity. And in doing that, it becomes a lot easier for you to take what you need from the message and leave what you don't need. Because again, when we look at that central card, 7 of Wands, there's always a decision on how much you want to either take on responsibility-wise or absorb here as we're looking at thought processes. Looking at deep past, we do have the 8 of Wands, but it's looking like you don't have to try to kind of keep all of it's like a juggler. You don't have to juggle as much as you were before. And that's the encouragement this month, is to realize you're not like a one-person show. There is a group, an ensemble around you, and it's about the group. I do feel like this is a great time for those of you that are trying to start up a business or trying to start sort of a new cycle in your life. I see this as a very positive card, connecting 8 of Wands to 8 of Cups to the 7 of Wands. You've got a lot of activity going on in your life and a lot of sustainability as we kind of peek in looking at 2019. So then the year ahead is looking really good. I think that for many of you, this is a time for you to hammer out the details. Like quite literally, we see someone here doing this. But for me, the 3 and the 8 of Pentacles always have to do with writing, with solidifying, with the details. And this month, your attention to details and your ability to highlight the positive is what's going to kind of make you shine. So when I was saying don't get defensive, stick to the facts, what's really important this month is to find areas where you know it's worth your time and energy. And if you really invest in those areas, you're going to see sustainable growth, and people around you are going to take note of your work ethic, the fairness with which you're sort of operating in your relationships, which we saw there at the center as well. Don't second guess yourself this month, and also don't try to get too much in someone else's head when you're making the decisions for what's best for you, the project, the situation. Use your own intuition as the compass. A lot of times you'll notice, sometimes this happens with musicians or with movies that we see, when they try too much to cater to what they think will be successful, the ideas flop. But when something's truly innovative or really hits on what's important, it stands out and it makes a splash, it makes a difference, because it's very much true to the core, true to the passion of the original idea or the person that's bringing it forth. The closer you can stay to that this month, the better. This month, you are going to have a chance to use your voice more. And this can be something that can be a positive force. It can also be something that can be intimidating. The King of Swords upright, though, is by and large a card of empowerment. It's showing you that if there's anything in your life that you've been hesitating on previously, don't do that this month. This is a month to take action. And it's also a month for those of you that happen to be, again, creative writers, or somehow want to express or launch a new idea. With a combination of 3 of Pentacles in your crowning position and the King of Swords in your ego, gosh, everything is supporting you this month. So I would really encourage you to not delay and just basically do something to create some momentum in your life. Just, picking up the phone, writing a first page if you are a writer, doing something to just get it started, because once the momentum has begun, then it has this sort of, it's kind of like a rock going downhill. It has its own energy, and that's what you want to get started this month. Try to avoid thinking too much about what isn't happening, or maybe if you're looking at things in the past that didn't kind of come to fruition in the way that you wanted them to come in. There's a tendency this month to get lost in these thoughts of, I wish it could have been like this, or why isn't this working out? While it's good to be critical, and it's always good to reflect, too much reflection actually can lead to a sort of, it's a block of abundance that wants to come through, and it also is too much of a focus on the past. You're putting too much energy in what was instead of what is and what could be. And when you start focusing on what can be, and again, getting back to big ideas, making a splash, we have the star card here in the opportunity space. What does this mean on a sort of larger level? Many of you are going to have opportunities this month where you may have to step up or step out into the limelight. And it can always be scary when these things happen, but it can really be rewarding too. What I want you to do is just take a chance on yourself. Whether this is, deciding that you want to talk to somebody about, again, a project, an idea, or if you want to ask someone out, or if you want to just decide to do something different with your life. And it's sort of this coming out moment where you're redefining who you are and also affecting the way that people see you. What's important is that in that moment of declaration, that you believe it and that you feel it. When you do, your energy is magnetic and people then can latch on to this future version of yourself and accept it. But acceptance starts within you, within your heart space. And so what I really want many of you to focus on this month is not hiding or running or worrying about who you are. If you can kind of fall in love with this, either who you are and want to be and share with the world, or this sort of new redefined version of yourself, if you're trying to change something, then I want you to just imagine that this is like a work of art, and it is. It's your own life. It's your own energy. But if you love it, other people will love it. If you hesitate, they have a hard time seeing you. It's almost like they need a pair of glasses because you're shifting in and out of focus energetically. We were talking earlier about spreading your wings and bringing people into your life. Your outcome card is the Four of Wands, which I see as a foundational card for relationships. Interesting that it came through, however, in a reverse state, which is showing people around you ready to support you. But just like these beams here, for some reason, you're not willing to lean on them or accept the help or recognize it. If I had to focus on one thing that I think is a takeaway for your sign this month with that Four of Wands reversed, it's really about when you let go of certain things, you create space. In that space, you can actually build new things. So you're simultaneously working on two foundational elements. One is leaning on the people around you that want to support you. The other one is by clearing the space out, you can now become a builder. And if we look at some of the cards here, I'm going to pull them up one more time, and then when we do the review at the end, you'll see them again. That's really what the Three of Pentacles is for me. It's the master builder here, the craftsperson, where the 8 is the apprentice, the 3 becomes the master, or the person that is showing other people. So is the star card. This is someone who illuminates, who inspires, who captivates people. It's a celebrity. And the Four of Wands is the audience that's ready to support. So what we're looking at in your sphere of energy this month is an ability now to do great work, to have support for that to be received, and to also let go of some things so you can start the next project, which is really what this sustainability card is bringing up. Now, some of you may have a chance to reconnect also with something that you've let go of in the past. It could be a passion, something that you decided it wasn't the right time to do. It could also be a person, where again, you thought our timing was off, they were in a relationship or I was in a relationship. And this could be your great work, and this could be your soul connection. So for some of you, you might meet someone that changes your life forever. Or you may be the person that changes someone else's life because of the work that you're doing. You have a choice this month, putting the passion into great projects, great works, great efforts, or into people. The choice is really up to you. There's no right or wrong either way. What I would say is focus on what you feel and realize that whatever you do this month, your actions are what's going to inspire and create the change. It's not. Don't get lost in thoughts this month. It's important to take action. So think a little bit, feel it more than you think about it, and then begin taking action, and things are going to start to change for the better for you. All right, let's go ahead now and expand your forecast. We'll begin with health. I like to remind everyone that health is a mind, body, and spirit message. It's not just about your physical well-being. So with respect to your health this month, the message is to focus when it comes to the stress that you have in your life on letting go of anything that's causing tension, any arguments. And we have this card that's really showing a peace offering. So I think this has to do with, we talked here at the beginning here about not being on the defensive and not letting people push your buttons. So stress reduction. For some of you, this could involve a vacation, taking a trip, getting outside a little bit more. Artistic endeavors, always a great way to release tension or to find sort of your heart space, a healthier place with your heart space. So choose the path of peace, allowing for your overall energy to get back to a neutral place, really helping your heart as well. Whenever I see the Ace of Cups in the center, if I had to pull sort of like a heart message for you or a health message with your body, I would say pay attention to how you feel in your heart, cardiovascular health. So making sure that you're getting enough exercise, drinking enough water because Ace of Cups rules that, and then also making sure that if you have a family history of anything with blood pressure, heart disease, things of that nature, you want to really make sure that that's being taken care of. Iron deficiencies, things like that as well. But the bigger message here in the health area is to try to find a place of peace. You can do that through meditation. You can also do that through talking to friends or through therapy, but it's important to try to let go of mental stress, arguments, and energy that you've been holding on to someone else over perhaps because of a misunderstanding or anger. This is a month to release everything and allow your heart space to be open, to be clear, and to be overflowing with positive energy. We just looked at health. Let's go ahead and take a look at wealth and see what message is coming through for career, for finance, also any messages about self-worth. So it says, answering the call, the time is now. This card really goes hand in hand with what we were seeing here with the King of Swords. So this came in reverse, but I'm just going to hold it upright. We see someone literally walking through a portal or a door, either answering that internal calling that it's time, I need to do this, or perhaps an opportunity is knocking and this is your chance to follow through. And again, looking at the ego, this is the month for you to decide, I'm going to get started. So no more delaying, walk through the door and allow for that opportunity to begin to unfold. Because whatever seeds you plant, whatever details you begin to finalize, you're going to really see some wonderful growth over the next quarter of the year, looking at January, February, and March as we're looking into next year as well. So we just looked at health and wealth. Now let's take a look at love and relationships. Your message for love this month is forgiveness. The card was reversed, but I'm going to pull it upright so you can read it. It's about the Ascended Master Jesus. The word is forgiveness. It says, you're on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father healing is possible at this time. So for those of you that might either be estranged from a parental figure in your life, whoever might have played a more paternal role, or maybe it was an uncle or a brother, someone who stepped into that role, and this is your chance to sort of heal any internal wounds that you might have. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Forgiveness means sometimes giving yourself permission to be okay with things, because sometimes we're hurt in our lives and we take responsibility. This card is reminding you that particularly when it comes to caretakers in your life or people that you trust, even like a boss figure, that they're supposed to be there to protect you. So if anything happened and that didn't happen to you, it's not your fault. And this card is reminding you to love yourself, to forgive yourself. It starts here. And then maybe one day you'll be able to put that same energy towards the person, but maybe you start with yourself, then with the situation, and then eventually you can at least understand why it happened. And forgiveness is multifaceted, but in doing this, you become stronger and you're more at ease with who you are, because sometimes the rejection that we feel in our life comes when we're the most true to ourselves. So for those of you that may decide to follow a passion, again, maybe you come from a traditional family and you want to do something very non-traditional. It could be in love, it could be in career, it could just be about your life in general. Somehow you're not fitting into that carbon copy mold that everyone else, brothers and siblings and community did. This month, it's okay. Forgive people around you maybe for the rejection. Forgive yourself for not maybe believing in your abilities, and then break the mold this month. Once you feel that sense of it's going to be okay, even if it wasn't okay, then good stuff starts to happen. So the love is about self-love this month, and that's the message. Looking now at the big picture, your GPS. Whenever I look at destiny, it's not set in stone, not in the way that I'm reading this spread. This is where you're headed. So if you like where you're headed, stay on the path and achieve that. If you don't, take a 180, try something different. So for destiny this month, your message says fourth chakra, meaning, of course, that's where the healing and the growth is going to happen. That's your heart center. And we look at these two cards together. It's about unconditional love, forgiveness, and doing activities this month that are going to allow you to be just like this ace card that we see here, overflowing with passion, with love, with this feeling of self-fulfillment. And in doing that, you're going to draw new people into your life and be able to trust them, trust yourself, lean on this support team that seems to want to sort of grow around you. So some beautiful cards this month, but definitely some work that you have to do. There's always some homework after we look at what's ahead of us. And for you this month, it seems to be on loving yourself, opening your heart, being a little bit truer to whatever it is that you want to do, just embracing that opportunity. Let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about, and then we'll wrap up this monthly reading. As I said at the beginning, I saw a picture of you almost like having angel wings, outstretching and letting people see who you are, like that star card that we looked at, but also pulling them into your energy. It's almost like giving everyone around you this big hug and saying, I'm here for you. I'm also here for myself. And it's sort of this gentle power. It's kind of like the temperance card where you don't have to push your will on others. Just by being strong, just by standing up and being yourself, you're going to be this magnetic energy this month. So don't be afraid to bring people in to your ideas, to your inspirations. Don't be afraid to support others as well. Now, looking at each card one by one, again, the main message at the middle was things should be easing a little bit. It feels like many of you were busy over the past few months. You have some choices to make this month, particularly with relationships. Trust yourself. Some of you may need to take a temporary vacation and walk away from certain relationships. If that's what you feel, that's okay, honor it. I see more of a focus this month on work and details and, again, really getting something finished. So if there's anything that you've delayed action on, you really want to take advantage of this month to execute on your ideas. Don't get lost in thoughts or in doubt or in trying to figure out what others are thinking. This is sort of an illusion and a mirage that will blur your ability to focus on the not just the possibilities, but also the positives that are existing. Again, there's a lot of help that wants to come into your life this month. Allow that abundance and that support to have a place. The overarching card when we were looking at the catalyst was that of prosperity. So don't stand in the way of the flow. As we look at your expanded forecast, when we're looking at mental health this month, it's really about choosing a path of peace and the least resistance. I did refer to looking at the heart space as it was before we looked at the other cards here in the expanded forecast, but I was sensing that your heart could also use some TLC this month. So cardiovascular energy, making sure that you're eating right and putting low cholesterol food in your body. And if there's anyone with a family history of heart disease, high blood pressure, hypertension, you want to talk to your doctor about that and just get a physical, make sure everything's okay. Looking at wealth this month, executing, taking that leap of faith, deciding that it's time to go. Don't delay. Looking at love, it all starts within. Self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, and then forgiving those paternal figures in your life that perhaps didn't show up the way that you wanted or needed them to. Finally, the overall arching message is to really use your heart as your central decision-making muscle this month. Sometimes we use our third eye, sometimes it's our seventh chakra, sometimes we're using just logic and practical information. This month, I want you to feel it out. What does it feel like when you're doing something? How do you feel when you hear what people are saying? Ignore the words, hear the vibration, hear your heart's sort of message. And it's not accidental that in ancient Egypt, that was thought to be like the seat of knowledge. There really is sort of an internal passionate knowledge that exists there. So when it comes to your relationships, your decisions on what you want to do with your life, what you'd want to do with your career, sometimes we talk about it in the gut, but I also feel like you have to feel it in the heart. So that's going to be your big focus this month is, what is your heart saying? Are you feeling kind of tight there? Are you feeling good things and butterflies and, palpitations? So tune into your heart space this month, allow it to heal, allow it to open. And that is also part of that stretching that I saw. If you ever have done yoga or even working out at the gym, I want you to do activities this month that open up the heart space, opening up the chest cavity. Even focus on your posture instead of kind of slouching down. Pull back a little bit and allow this space to be open and receiving, and allow people to see you, because that's going to change the way your energy is perceived and received. So that wraps up your reading for this month. Overall, pretty good. Again, a lot of great energy when it comes to once you've made a decision to do something. I feel like some of you could get recognition. This could be an award, this could be publication, distribution, some really great stuff there. It could also be for those of you that are deciding to start a business or to create a change in the world. Maybe it's a movement or an organization. Looking at the Eight of Cups and the Four of Wands, this is showing me the ability to basically make a paradigm shift or get people behind you. So some really powerful energy this month, but you have to heal your heart space and work on yourself so that you're ready to carry the energy, okay? If you ever have any big decisions in your life and you just want someone to talk to about it, I'd love to be there for you. You can check out my rates and availability by looking at the first link below the video. I mentioned earlier that your support is integral to my ability to be here for you. So if you want to say thank you and support the channel, an easy way to do so without any sort of obligation or requirement of exchange from you is just to like and subscribe. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, say a comment if you'd like to. Doing this not only helps the overall health of the channel, but it also gives me ideas for future videos. It lets me know that this is making a difference. So for all of you that do that month to month, thank you. Even if I don't have time to individually comment on every single comment you make, I do read them, so I appreciate it. If you'd like to go a step further and just help me carve out the time that's necessary to do videos like this, then you can join me on Patreon. Patreon lets you donate something as little as $1 per month. You can stop it at any point if you'd like, but it's something that you can kind of just do and then let it go. And then each month that allows me to continue to buy cards and also to set up the time to do the readings that you see here from month to month. If you'd like to do a one-time donation, you can also look at my website. For links to both of those, you can just go to the second link below the video. And third, and I would say equally as important, if you just want to join the community, and that's really a big part of the reason that I show up each month too, is to kind of create a community of light workers. Join me on my social media networks. The third link will show you how to connect on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as my newsletter. And if I left anything else out, it'll also be in that third link. So feel free to join me across all the different social media platforms that I'm on. I'd love to have you there. And I think that the group of people that show up tend to be really open, friendly, and supportive, and that's what I'm hoping to continue to build upon. So I'd love you to be a part of that family. The last thing that I like to do each month, and I think this is the best part of why I show up, is just to say thanks. I know that sometimes you come here maybe with an idea of just worrying about what's coming through or whatever, or how do I deal with this, or there's a relationship problem, maybe he's going to tune into it this month, but you leave hopefully getting a lot more. My whole purpose is to open up energetic paths of least resistance, of opportunities for you to shine and to sort of be like the star that we see here. I want each of us to be a source of inspiration and illumination for the planet. So you just being here, thinking about stuff, changing your the way that you react to all of the sort of blessings and blocks that come through each month, that makes you a powerful force of light on the planet, and I'm so happy that you're doing that. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of your spiritual journey. I really wish you the best of the holiday season. Whatever you celebrate, just share love and light with those around you, and I'm doing that right now. Thank you so much. I'll see you again in January. By the way, I'd like to do another live feed in January, so more information as that gets closer, probably looking at the year ahead. and maybe having, again, a little bit of an open discussion at the end. And I'll do a little bit on each sign too. We'll see. I'll put a video about that as we get a little closer, probably mid-December. I'll talk more about that. Okay? In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.